Yeah, the best. The best.
All those years.
What the best?
You know everything. You can deal with everything. Let me say that.
Maloba.
Mr. Sauti. Yes. There to say to the court. But you see, it requires time to look for the equipment to be, I don't know, to be not installed or whatever it is.
Set up.
Yeah, to be set up. So.
Your Worship, might call the witness this time.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What's your religion?
Christian.
Christian. Use the Bible to take the oath. And you repeat after me. I do swear by the name of the Almighty God.
I do swear by the name of the Almighty God
That the evidence I shall give.
that the evidence that I shall give
Before this court. Touching on the matter in question.
Touching on the matter in question.
Shall be the truth.
Shall be the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
And a song I had been writing and sung it out with the lyrics and melody. The following day, the second defendant asked for the lyrics. I sent them to him on WhatsApp. I wish to produce the documents we filed as exhibits in court. And then there was an objection. So you proceed from that point.
To work with the defendants as they invited me for songwriting sessions, which were being held at a studio called Snowball Studios. In Snowball Studios.
And where is it located?
Nyari Estate.
Okay.
In Nairobi.
Okay, just a second.
Yes.
Continue, please.
Yes, several studio sessions took place there. And in those studio sessions, there was a song that was being written and recorded during those sessions. The song I learnt was titled Extravaganza.
Okay, just a second. So you were asked to participate in the songwriting of that song?
Yes, I was invited to participate because each verse was being given to a particular artist to write and perform.
Okay, so it was both songwriting and performance?
Correct.
Okay, and you wrote your verse?
Correct, yes.
What verse was it in that song? What sequence?
It was the third verse in the song.
It was the third verse in the song. Okay. And that song has since been released?
Yes.
Okay. As with you, were you credited for that song?
Yes.
When it was released?
Yes, on the streaming platforms, on the YouTube channel of the Sauti Soul YouTube channel, in all the metadata, I am credited as a co-writer.
And how are you credited?
A co-writer.
A co-writer and
performer.
The streaming channels?
Yes, the streaming channels, including the YouTube page, my lady.
Yes.
In all the metadata, I am credited as a co-writer and performer.
Has since been released. Do you remember around what period that song was released, Extravaganza?
Of 2019.
Okay. And since that song has been released, And you have been credited both as a songwriter and a performer.
Yes.
Have you, sorry, beg your pardon? Have you received any royalties for that song?
I have not, no.
Exactly. What exactly was your contribution to that song? Just for clarity, for the court to be clear.
I arranged and performed the background vocals
Okay.
in the pre-chorus and the chorus of the song.
Were you credited as such?
No, I was not. Oh, yes, I was credited.
What
Pardon
were
me.
you credited as?
For background vocals and performance.
And performance. And that credit, the credit that you got for that song, was it also published with the song?
Yes.
When it was released?
Yes.
Have you received any royalties or any income from that song?
None whatsoever, my lady. My lady, there was a third song on the album that was set to be for the album where I recorded, but it was not, my recordings were not used in the end. That's why I make that clarification. Correct, yes.
Right. So, yes. So, what was your contribution to that song, Kiwambali?
I went to the studio session and recorded my verse.
Just recorded, or?
I wrote and
Yes.
recorded my verse, and I also wrote part of the chorus and performed backing vocals for the song.
And did that song end up being published or released?
Yes, it did in the in or around the Christmas period of 2019.
Okay. And where was it released first? That song, Kiwambali. On whose platform?
To the best of my knowledge, it was released first on the Soul Generation platform.
That's Kiwambali, the Christmas song.
Yes.
Okay.
It was either the Soul Generation platform or it was the Sauti Soul platform, my lady. I'm not. It was a long time ago. I can't specifically remember.
Okay, but you've testified that this is a song that was, well, in effect, commissioned by KLM. So did KLM end up using it or publishing it on any of their platforms?
I believe they did. Yes.
Okay. And you said that was around the Christmas time of 2019, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Was there ever at the time of creating the song or even at publishing, did you ever have a direct agreement with the sixth defender, that is KLM, regarding the use of these songs?
None.
Okay. Were you aware of any agreement between the sixth defendant and the first defendant in relation to the use of this song
I was
at
not.
that time?
I was not made aware of any agreement.
When did you become aware that there was an agreement between the sixth defendant and the first defendant regarding the use of this song?
It was around the time I was dismissed from the label in 2019, around October into November, around that time. 2019, my lady.
And when did you actually have sight of such an agreement between them, those same parties that we mentioned?
It was only in the year 2020, after.
No, I'm asking about having sight of it.
Oh.
There's being aware of it and
Okay,
then having
okay.
sight of it, yes.
Mhm.
So let's start with being aware that it existed.
Right.
Yes.
Mhm.
When did you know? When were you made aware that such an agreement existed?
Yes, it was around November time of 2019, November,
Okay.
October, yes.
Did you ask to be shown a copy of the agreement so you understood what the terms were and how you were bound?
Yes, I requested through a lady named Sarah Auzo if I can be made aware of the agreement, because I had heard that there was an agreement being discussed between the sixth and the first defendant.
And what was Sarah Oso's response to you?
Sarah also said that she was not in a position to give me that information. Yes.
And Sarah also is one of the witnesses of the sixth defendant, correct?
Yes, she's listed as a witness to the sixth defendant.
Okay. When did you actually have sight of that agreement?
It was after I had already left the label.
Yes, but when specifically? When were you? Did you have it in your hands, or you were shared? It was shared with you.
Not. I can't remember the exact date, my lady. Apologies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or which year? Because you told the court you were aware of it around 2019 when you were being dismissed.
Right.
Now you were told, yes, here's the agreement, this is it, and this is what it says.
It was once we filed suit, which was in around 2022, I believe.
And roughly, what did that agreement purport to do on your behalf?
My lady, the agreement was purporting to act on my behalf as my legal representation, as an agent, of myself as an artist. It signed my rights without my knowledge from, to the sixth defendant to use the song.
Just for clarity, were you ever involved in that agreement coming up between the sixth defendant and the first defendant?
No, when I asked for information on the agreement, to have a look at it, to know what it involves, I was shut down from accessing that information, my lady.
Okay. So you were never involved in that agreement coming into existence?
No.
Are you aware of how much money the first defendant obtained from the sixth defendant for the use of the songs for that album, which include Ukiwa Mbali?
After filing this suit and after the agreement was made available, it was approximately 5 million shillings, thereabout.
Okay. Approximately 5 million shillings. Did you ever receive a portion of that or a share of that as a songwriter and a performer?
None whatsoever.
Okay. Lastly, Your Ladyship, we're going to the final sound recording. That is the song Lenga. Song released onto the sixth defendants or first defendants platforms?
It was yes, on their Facebook page.
Whose Facebook page?
The KLM Kenya Facebook page, my lady.
Alright. And what do you remember about, if you can, just remember about the quote about as far as Lenga is concerned?
The outcome after back and forth and negotiations, my lady, I was provided with full rights in around
Yes, when? Yes, just a second, just pause there.
Oh.
You're provided with full rights when?
It was around June or July of 2020.
Okay. So basically from the song,
By the defendants, the first through the fifth defendants.
and what were the exact rights that were given to you around that time, 2020 July, that you testified to?
The copyright,
Uh-huh.
yes.
Any other rights that you were given that you got?
Mechanical rights,
Okay.
yes. And performance rights.
And what does that ultimately mean so the court understands?
That means, my lady, that that song was transferred to me in full, with all rights therein.
But up
Was
and
transferred to you with all rights then?
With all rights therein. Yes, yes.
but since 2019 until that date, you did not have the rights to the song. Is that correct?
Correct.
So have you made any till that time? The mechanical rights and the copyright was handed to you. Did you make any royalties, or did you receive any royalties for that song?
I did not receive any royalties. No.
Not even from the 6 defendants?
No, I have not received.
I'd like just to make just to testify on your involvement with the first defendant and the second to fifth defendants. While you were writing with them, attending studio sessions, what was the nature of your engagement with them, so the court can understand? Did you have any specific, let's say, a recording contract with them?
During 2019, when I was part of working with the first through fifth defendants, I had been requesting over I made several attempts to secure an agreement of sorts, so that I can, of course, work knowing that I have that safety net, and there was none given to me, my lady.
So no recording contract was given to you. Was anything else given to you as a substitute to a recording contract?
My lady, I made, like I said, several attempts with the defendants to have a meeting to discuss an agreement. Around maybe June of 2019, I received a template. It's called an artist development agreement.
Okay, just pause there. I'll go to record.
Oh.
So you received an artist development agreement, correct?
Yes.
And to the best of your knowledge, what did that artist development agreement entail? Or what did it look like? Or what did it say? Generally, just for the court to understand.
Sure. In summary, my lady, the artist development agreement offered to give me artist development, for example, training and things of that nature, to develop me as an artist. In exchange, it requested for 360 rights to myself.
Just pause there.
It included a 360 deal, my lady.
Okay. For the benefit of the court, what is roughly a 360 deal?
A 360 deal, my lady, basically means that in exchange for what I'd mentioned, the training and the development from the label, I would need to give up all of my rights to the label, which includes, for example, if they made money off of my image and likeness, they would keep all of it. If they made money off of merchandising off of me or my brand, they would keep everything. If they would make money from my royalties, they would keep everything. If they would make money from endorsements or sponsorships, which have me and my brand involved, they would keep everything. 360 means all round. I'm giving everything, or I'm giving up everything to them.
And roughly, to the best of your knowledge, how long was this artist development agreement supposed to last for?
I remember it lasting, said to last for 5 years.
Okay, just a second. And after those 5 years, was there anything else that agreement had stated?
It said that upon expiry of the 5 years, they would keep half of my rights for a further 5 years. So no longer 360, which is 100%, but it would keep half of it for another 5 years.
And did that matter whether you were still with them or not, according to that agreement?
No, whether I was with them or I'd moved on to another label or working independently, they would still retain half for a further 5 years.
And you've provided a copy of that draft artist development agreement that you were sent together with PowerPoint slides, correct?
Yes.
That's 5A right through. Right through to 5B. Not as 5A to 5B. To V. V for Victor. Yes. 5. And did you raise, at that time when you were presented with that, it is marked in the documents as 5A, but yes, for exhibit is 3 years. So you were issued with that agreement. I guess you were told to have a look at it and agree or not agree. What was your next step after you got the agreement and you realized what the terms were? First of all, is that before we go there, in your mind, in your understanding, because you are a creative and an artist, are those typical terms of an artist development agreement, to the best of your knowledge?
It was a draft agreement, my lady, and I found some of the clauses to not be in order, including the 360 deal that was included.
Where would you normally find a 360 deal terms in such a contract, in a contract?
Usually you'd find that in a recording contract, a full recording contract.
But that's not what you were given?
No.
Okay. So what did you do next?
I approached the general counsel for the first defendant. His name is Moriasi Omambia. And I confided in him about the reservations I had about this draft artist development agreement, and I requested for a sit down so that we can discuss further and negotiate further.
Just a second. Yes, so did that result in a sit down or a negotiation or finalizing of that agreement that you'd been given?
No, my lady. As I've said or detailed in my witness statement, I was being given the runaround. I kept asking for meeting after meeting, and the response the different responses given were there's the boys, who are usually referenced as the boys or the guys, aka Sauti Soul. They're away. It's a very busy time. Can we give it a few more weeks? Things like that. Different excuses, in my view, for having this sit down so we can discuss.
So that agreement was never finalized.
No, it was not, my lady.
But just for clarity of the court, were you still put forward as part and parcel of the first defendant, that's Soul Generation Records?
Yes, in media, in interviews, basically I was fronted as a part of the label already, a solid part of the label, not that this person is still being negotiated with, my lady.
Did they put you forward, or any aspect of your brand forward as something that they were marketing, as marketing you as part of the record?
Yes, they marketed my brand as being part of the 4 artists in the first defendant, as part of the first defendant. My apologies. Yes, my brand, my image, my likeness was being used.
What about your disability?
Yes, that also was part of the, I suppose, the brand strategy, as is called in marketing and PR. It was part of it as well.
So your disability was used as a?
It was used as part of the brand strategy and the marketing and the PR, my lady.
How would they use that? Because to the average person listening, disability should not really be a marketing point, a selling point. How did they use that?
My lady, I think it was absolutely a selling point, because I wasn't just the only female in the group, but I was the only person with a disability, and therefore it was used to garner support from the public and praise from the public as having, as the group, the label, having supported and putting forward and nurturing a young female with a disability, which no other label at the time was doing.
You have submitted a copy of your disability certificate as part of your documents, correct?
Yes, my lady.
Would you like to produce that as part of your evidence?
Yes, my lady.
Your ladyship. Marked as number 1 in the plaintiff's list of documents, that is 23rd September 2022, is the plaintiff's disability certificate. Would like to produce that and mark it as PW4. Further, your ladyship, with the same list of documents dated 23rd September 2022, would like to also, beg your pardon, let me begin that again, your ladyship. You've also provided, Madam Senator, you've also provided documentation of the routine that you had while you were with the first defendant, publicity, and so forth, correct?
Yes.
I'd like to produce all those documents as part of your evidence.
Yes.
Your Ladyship, as I was stating before, in the same 23rd September 2023 list of documents, would like to produce the document listed. I propose, Your Ladyship, okay, so those three and yourself were at that meeting, correct?
Yes.
And the upshot of that meeting was that you were dismissed, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
They were breaking the news to me that they have sat down and deliberated, and this is their decision.
Did they cite anything specific as to why you're being dismissed?
My lady, to be honest, it was very confusing because they cited many things as the reason why I was being dismissed. It wasn't one thing, and some of those things were contradicting each other. They cited...
Just a second.
Yes, the second defendant cited that I was the weakest of the acts in terms of performing, singing, recording, basically every aspect of an artist. And then at the same time, he said, but he also said that I was amazing at songwriting, and I did great in the group songs, etc. I was also told by Moriasi Omambia that the reason that they're dismissing me is because they're broke and they can't afford having as many artists as they thought, or they started with rather, in the beginning of the year. And they said that they don't believe I'm ready, and many other reasons that were cited. It wasn't clear. There wasn't one pinpoint. It seemed to be whatever was thrown on the wall, whatever would stick.
Okay. So was that a clean break, or were there other issues pending?
Well, they had all my music that I had, all my musical works, pardon me. They still, of course, had all of my images. That I left in their possession. I mean, that they had in their possession, because they had told me, they had promised that we were going to sit down and finalize on an agreement. So for all the works that I'd done up to that November was still with them.
Okay. So did you, as part of following up on these artistic works, did you send a demand letter?
After the meeting, after that dismissal meeting in November, my lady, I immediately realized that the good faith that I had and the respect that I held for them in terms of being patiently waiting for said meeting to materialize was not going to happen. So I then engaged a legal counsel, a representation, and through that, yes, we sent a demand letter.
Okay. You have included in your further list of documents dated 6 May 2024 a copy of that demand letter dated 2nd March 2020. Is that correct?
Yes.
You've also submitted the various, or the chain of responses or correspondence that emanated from that demand letter, that is between 2nd March 2020 and 16th July 2020. Is that correct?
Yes.
Would you like to produce those as evidence? ladyship. I'd like to refer the court to the plaintiff's further list of documents dated 6th of May 2024, and those are the documents marked, listed as from number 3 right up to the end, number 10. I don't know how the court would propose to list them. So we're 316, Your Ladyship. So I'd pray that they're listed PW16, all the way to 23, PW23. Which is the chain of correspondence. Thank you. And these are the chain of correspondence that resulted, as you testified earlier, in you receiving the full rights in respect of Lenga. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, what about the other songs that you've testified that are the subject matter of this suit? That is intro, extravaganza, ukiwambali, and favorite song.
I after receiving this agreement, my lady, in July 2020, I had no other responses with regard to the other musical works.
You had no other responses from whom?
From the 1st through 5th defendants.
Okay.
No more communication.
Had they shared proposed split sheets?
Yes, they had shared split sheets, not an agreement, but they had shared split sheets detailing what they, in their view, was a fair representation or breakdown of each of the songs.
So these split sheets were in respect of extravaganza, ukiwambali, favorite song, correct?
Yes.
And what were you told when you remember you told the court earlier that you found out around this time for negotiation that intro, a song you had written, was being used in the 2nd to 5th album known as Midnight Train. When that request was made for the split sheet for that, what were you informed?
I was informed that for intro they have transferred the rights, and it is owned by Universal and not them.
So the split sheets were for...
So for the song intro, I was told.
Just a second,
Oh,
let's go back.
oh, sorry.
Your Lordship, that is for the split sheets were for which songs?
The split sheets provided were for Extravaganza, Ukiwambali, and Favorite Song.
Okay. And when you inquired after split sheets for intro, the song used as the opener for Midnight Train album, you were telling the court what you were informed. What were you informed?
I was informed that the ownership of the song was not with them, the 2nd through 5th defendants, but the ownership of that song was with Universal Music Group.
So in effect, they have used that song without your consent or knowledge?
Yes, and transferred the rights to a third party.
Was that with your consent or knowledge?
No, my lady.
So you said the ownership of the song was not with the 1st to 5th defendants or
Second.
2nd to 5th defendants?
2nd to 5th.
2nd to 5th. 2nd to 5th.
Mhm.
And they told you it had been transferred to whom?
Universal Music Group.
So basically you had to take it up with them.
Yes.
But ultimately, what they were admitting to, what were they ultimately admitting to?
They were admitting to having taken, used, and transferred the rights to that song, my rights to that song, to a third party.
Was that with your knowledge?
It was not with my knowledge or consent, my lady.
Given what did you note about them? The 3 songs: Extravaganza, Kiwambali, and Favorite Song.
My lady.
Okay, just pause there. What? Oh, that is Extravaganza, Kiwambali, and Favorite Song. Favorite song, your ladyship. So you've testified they're not conventional. What exactly do you mean? Could you clarify that for the court?
My lady, first of all different rights found in artistic works are supposed to be agreed upon separately. Those rights include mechanical rights, copyright, and performance rights. They're to be done separately, and that is the way. That is the standard. And
so, just a second. So you've testified they're supposed to be created separately, the split sheets, correct? And you're here before the court in respect of your copyright, correct? So what was different about, you told the court they're not conventional, so what was different about the split sheets you were provided with to sign off?
Okay, the rights were conflated in the split sheets that I was presented with, my lady.
Okay, so which rights particularly were conflated?
For example, copyright. And the reason I say conflated is part of the split sheet, for example, let's take Extravaganza, my lady. I remember that it said that apart from giving me my 5% for my performing and 5% for my songwriting, which makes that 10%, there was a section that said that Soul Generation would gain 20% as a producer, and also they had a percentage as an arranger.
So just pause there.
We would retain 20%
as a producer, and they also had a percentage, I believe it's also 20%, as an arranger. That's the first defendant, Soul Generation.
And just to be clear, you are referring to Soul Generation as the first defendant, as the company, correct?
Yes.
Okay. To your knowledge, as an artist and someone who has who's aware of intellectual property rights, especially as it pertains to artistic works and sound recordings, can a company write a song?
No, my lady, a company cannot write a song.
Can a company arrange a song?
No, my lady, a company cannot arrange a song.
Yet, according to your testimony and the split sheets you were given, they were purporting to be songwriters and arrangers and awarding themselves a hefty percentage, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Anything else that you noted in these split sheets that you were given?
Also,
The rest of your memory, knowledge.
I also noticed, as I was saying earlier, my lady, that all of the rights were put into one agreement rather than being deduced separately. Okay.
You have put these documents in as part of your evidence, correct?
Yes.
Would you like to produce them as part of your evidence?
Yes, my lady.
The leadership, I'm referring to the printed list of documents dated 23rd September 2022. They're marked as, they're listed as 21 from 21A to 21H. That would be PW24. Did you raise the issues that you...
Percentages, fair percentages, my lady.
And what was their response?
They did not wish to edit or amend the split sheets. They told me that basically take it or leave it. And I remember a communication saying that even Burna Boy agrees to this kind of a split sheet. So basically, who am I to question? Burna Boy being, my lady, an A-list musician or artist from Nigeria.
It's called Banabo.
Burna Boy, yes. B-U-R-N-A. R-N-A. And then Boy. Who has previously collaborated on music with the second to fifth defendants.
Okay, so you are told because Burna Boy has accepted, you should accept.
Yes.
Okay. And did you accept?
I did not, my lady.
You did not accept. And what is the current situation as far as those songs are concerned? That is with Extravaganza, Ukiwa Mbali, and Favorite Song?
The current situation is I still do not have split sheets or any other agreement as it pertains to my copyrights, my royalties, and so on, my lady.
And are you able to register your share of the copyright or whatever share of your copyright in those songs with Kenya Copyright Board or any collecting organization without the split sheets?
No, my lady, I'm not able to. When I have tried, they have told me I can only register my share or my rights therein only after producing said agreement, said documentation.
So in effect, you're in a limbo as far as those songs are concerned.
Yes, since 2019.
And is this situation the same with the song intro?
Yes, my lady.
You testified earlier you were not even given a split sheet for intro, is that correct?
No, I have not been given a split sheet for intro.
Okay, so what today?
Madam Speaker, oh, sorry. Apologies, my lady.
Madam Speaker. Yes.
I apologize. My lady, all I'm requesting from the court is for my dues to be given to me. I worked extremely hard in that period of time that I was part of this label. I worked in good faith. I worked diligently. I was loyal. And I was extremely patient at all times. And my only request is just to be given my dues. Madam my lady, I believe that not...
Just a second,
I think the word that applies across the board is Your Honor.
yes.
So
Okay.
use that word.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Your Honor, I believe that this is the way I carry myself in all aspects of my life. I believe that all you have in life is your word and your reputation. And I work with integrity, and there is a track record of the same in whatever field I have embarked on. And Your Honor, this has been no exception. And I really don't understand why I've never been given or afforded the respect or my just dues for 5 years now. And all I request for my behalf, on my behalf, but not just on my own behalf, Your Honor, but also on behalf of other creatives who go through similar situations where they meet with and believe in a mentor, in quotes, type of a person who has maybe more accolades, has more history, is a bigger brand than they are, to guide them, to support them. These young people, just like I am, have experienced such a thing. So this is not really just for my own behalf, but also for behalf of younger artists who are going through similar situations. And Your Honor, these dues, this particular matter, since it came out into the public domain, not through myself, because I operate with decency and with respect, right? That is how I operate. When it did come out into the media, many artists have approached me saying, "Oh my God, I have a similar story. I have a similar story." But we are not as brave as you, Asige. We feel like we'll be targeted, or we won't be given other opportunities if we come out. We basically feel more helpless. So you carry on, and we hope for the best for you. So with this sentiment, I really believe that it's not just for me, and I never want that to appear. So it's to create a better precedent so that we have a better creative industry and people actually follow the rule of law. Madam, Your Honor, I am bound by Article, now in my position now, I'm bound by Article, Chapter 6, of the Constitution, leadership and integrity. And that's all that I'm trying to display so that I can get my dues as has been outlined in my case, in my suit. And I do pray for a favorable outcome and ruling.
We're done, my lady. Just to, nicely underline everything. And what you said is in addition to the prayers you've sought in your plate, correct?
Yes, as
That
stated.
is all, my lady.
That one, it was just
Correct.
a note for the others.
Yes, correct. Yes, my lady, we concluded the exam in chief.
It's another
Exam
one.
in chief, yes, for this witness, yes.
So
15, 20 minutes.
15 to 20 minutes, that will take us to 3 p.m. There's another case here. So I want us to agree on whether I should take it out so that I finalize with this particular witness. Mr. Just a minute. Mr. Onyancha. Yes. We have this case which so where are the other names?
56.
Yes. 56 of the first to fifth defendants' documents. Where do I find the other names? So I see a dash and dash, no names.
My lady, sorry, my lady. This document also appears in the plaintiff's document. My apologies, the same document.
Further on the first bundle.
That represented to her. So 21A is an agreement appearing on Sauti Sol's letterhead, collaboration split sheet, signed on 9 February 2020 between Soul Generation Records, located 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%, unequitable, which you're saying that should not have been 8, it should have been 100% of the copyright. That's your testimony. So you should get maybe 20% each. And that would have been a fair assessment of how this should have been distributed. That's right.
should have been split out of 100. Yes.
Out of 100.
Yes.
And also producers out of 100.
Yes.
Arrangers also out of 100.
I'm not sure how the allocation for arrangers, but for sure I know that copyright is 100%.
100%.
Yes.
Of what has of that musical works. 100% of the rights allocated to copyright of that musical work.
Yes.
All right. Then, same table. There is the left column performance, and it lists the following as performers: Sauti Sol, they have been allocated 5%. Viri, 5%. Bensol, 5%. Kaskazini, 5%. Cristal Asige, 5%. Is this a fair allocation of the rights under this subtopic, this column, performance?
Splitting it evenly.
Splitting
Yes.
it evenly, the percentage. This time you have your concerns about the percentage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this was the reason why you did not sign the split sheet. Is that right?
All of the reasons I've mentioned.
But mostly it's because you found that the distribution was not equitable as per the standards of the industry. Is that right?
The entire document,
The entire document.
yes, was not as per industry standards.
Now, you've testified that you're not able to register your share of the rights with the Kenya Copyright Board in your testimony just right now. The rights with the collecting societies, and as a result, you're not able to claim any benefits of these rights, of your rights. Is that right?
I haven't been able to claim anything.
Anything. So this confirms that you're aware that the only person who can derive benefits of your copyrights in these musical works is only you as the copyright holder. Is that right?
Please repeat.
This confirms that you're aware that for you to collect royalties or benefits on the rights that you own, the copyrights that you own, on this agreement, which you say you're not able to collect because the split sheets have not been signed, it confirms that you're the only one who can collect, or you can get these benefits, these royalties, from without the split with the split sheet, if the split sheets are available.
Not only myself or anyone who I assign the same
Or
to.
anyone you assign. Now, do you think that the defendants are able to collect royalties, the copyright royalties that you own as a songwriter, from anyone without your consent? Are they able to collect these benefits, royalties, for the rights that you own on these musical works?
They're not able to do anything without my consent.
They cannot collect royalties without your consent on the copyrights that you own.
Correct.
You own copyrights to 5 songs that you presented before this court today: Extravaganza, Lenga, Kiwambali, there's Intro, and then there's Favorite Song. And you've confirmed that you own these copyrights. You've also testified
Yes.
that the defendants have actually credited you in the platforms that these musical works are shared.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now, so what is your claim then? Why are you saying that Sauti Sol have declined to pay you for the efforts and the work that you've put in, and you've confirmed that they cannot collect these benefits on the rights that you own for these musical works?
My claim, my lady, is that because there is no agreement of any kind, split sheet or otherwise, everything is still retained with Sauti Sol, or the first through the 5th defendants, however it is that they've done it. And I am not aware of how they are collecting, but in what they have collected since 2019, I have received nothing.
But again, you say it is not possible for Sauti Sol, for the 1st to 5th defendants, to collect royalties on your behalf for the copyrights that you own without your consent.
Right. And it is my submission that they are collecting on their own behalf.
On their own behalf.
Yes.
What they're collecting is theirs.
They're collecting everything.
Theirs.
Everything.
Master rights,
All of
and
our
the
rights.
shares that they have.
What I believe is that they're collecting everything.
Including yours?
Because there is no agreement, I have no share right now, according to the before the law, my lady.
In the event that today this honorable court directs the split sheet to be properly allocated to everyone, and the split sheet is signed and arranged, are you able not to collect those royalties? Will you be able to collect them?
I hope so, yes.
You hope so. So is it fair that right now, if I present to this court, that what you want this court is to compel Sauti Sol to get these agreements and the spreadsheets to be properly prepared, fair and equitable allocation of shares across the board to everyone. And if it's signed and it's given to you, you'll be able to collect these royalties from the holders?
Yes, and in arrears.
In arrears? What I'm saying is, you justified, you confirmed. Sauti Sol have not collected your royalties.
I am
Who
not aware if they've not collected any royalties, my lady.
All right.
I'm not aware.
Where are they collected from?
They're collected with CMOs and Keokobo.
Collective management organizations.
Yes.
These are collective societies. And they're mandated to collect royalties on behalf of certain right owners. Like
Yes.
yourself.
Yes.
You're a right owner, a corporate owner of songwriting in certain musical works. And they have your money. They've collected.
You call them CMO?
CMOs, collective management organizations or collective societies. Other than that, you also, the other royalties are collected by DSPs, the digital service providers. YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. They collect these royalties on behalf of right holders. Is that right?
Yes.
Can Sauti Sol collect your royalties from iTunes on your copyright without your consent? Would they give that? Would they share this with Sauti Sol without your consent?
It is my submission, my lady, that they are collecting 100% of everything because they have not given myself any of my splits. And so that money is going somewhere.
So what if these royalties of yours are still held by the DSPs and the CMOs? They're just, as you testified, they're waiting for you to bring the split sheets. Is that not right? Like the CMO has said, MCSK, Camp and Prisk, is that right? They've asked you, please, we cannot do anything without the split sheet. Is that right?
Yes.
Do you have any evidence that without the split sheet, Sauti Sol and the defendants have actually collected these royalties and any benefits from your copyrights, from the CMOs and the DSPs?
Well, I'm not an expert in music or rights. So when you talk in terms of when you use abbreviations, I have to know what
My apologies, my lady.
the
Apologies.
songwriter, singer,
Apologies, my lady.
composer, and all those things.
Apologies, my lady. You've testified that you've actually approached the collective management organizations, the collecting management organizations, the collective societies, to ask them, pay me royalties or benefits derived from my rights over these musical works. And the response you received from the collecting societies was that, give us spreadsheets.
Yeah, I cannot claim without
You cannot claim without
documentation.
spreadsheets.